is Denise Dumichel. I'm the Executive Director here at Barn, and I'm really excited to share with you some of the ways that we responded to the community needs in the circumstances of COVID. And we're starting out front because there has been a lot of activity here for the last 5 months. People picking up and dropping off kits for making masks, parts that are ready to go to places where they're needed. Most of what we're going to focus on are the ways that we responded to the needs in the community, but we also needed to respond to our own circumstances of how we're going to provide a safe place for people when they're ready to return to Barn. So I'm here in Electronic and Technical Arts Studio with Doug Salat, our volunteer lead. So Doug, tell us briefly first what you accomplished to support COVID responses in the region.
We did several projects, some of them in conjunction with Bainbridge Prepares. Our big seller was face shields. 3D print the rim, and then we attach a laser cut plastic shield, and that's our big PPE winner. We also did something called PAPRs, which are hoods worn by first-line responders, typically doctors in hospital settings where infection risk is very high. We started doing a loose organization of volunteers both in-house and outside of people that had 3D printer access, and we looked at various designs, and we relied heavily on Bainbridge Prepares to vet those designs. They have medical staff that they consult with. So they were able to tell us which of these designs were preferred, and then we could start cranking them out with this army of 3D printers.
So now we're in the Fiber Arts studio with the Fiber Arts lead, Fran Fuller, who orchestrated a massive mask making project beginning back in March.
Bainbridge Prepares reached out to us to ask us to make a few mask prototypes. And they gave us some guidelines, several scientific papers that talked about different mask materials. We started figuring out how we could do an assembly line to put the mask kits together here in the studio. The goal was to preserve the N95 masks for the health professionals who would need them. But still, patients who were symptomatic would need something to catch their coughs. And so at that time, the terry cloth did seem to be the right thing to use, and the best thing to use. And so we made about 2,500 of those masks that we gave to the City of Bainbridge Island Emergency Operations Center, the EOC, is who we gave those to.
But then you progressed to these colorful alternatives. This is a huge project with more than 100 volunteers, right?
Yeah.
And some of them sewing and some of them doing kits and cleaning and all that kind of thing. With kits going out and finished masks coming in and needing to be evaluated and all that kind of thing.
And it felt good to have something concrete to do that I knew would offer something to the community. And when I sent emails to my Google group of people who sewed, I had to keep myself from crying a little bit when I would write the emails, because at the end I would always say, thank you for what you've given to the community, because it really was a gift from them to the community, and it made me feel happy to be able to participate in that. So having that ability to meet people and then to do something concrete for our island was really great.
I'm here now with Megan Mayles, who's our events coordinator at Barn and has been very involved with Kitchen Arts as well. And she has been managing Barn Bites. So now we have a grant from Bainbridge Community Foundation to keep this going through the fall. Megan, tell us how you found out about this need to begin with.
So when COVID first began, and especially when we had major shutdowns across the state, we realized that a lot of the community might be out of work, and there might be a rise in food insecurity for families and people across Bainbridge. So Barn has access to we have a wonderful commercial kitchen here, and I have a background in culinary, so we decided to partner with local organizations such as Helpline House and Island Volunteer Caregivers to help support them by providing well-made and nutritionally dense meals for the community out of the Barn kitchen. And the volunteers were there and ready to help in numbers and droves. People wanted to feel like they were making a difference. The hardest part was figuring out how to distribute the meals and make sure that they got to the right people who needed them. So by partnering with other nonprofits, we've really been able to get the food out, get it as far as Port Gamble and Paulsbo with ShareNet Food Bank, and we're also helping Gateway Church in Paulsbo as well. Maintaining a good core group of volunteers is really important because the tasks that they do, if they can do them week after week, it tends to make things go a lot quicker. I've had a wonderful time with our volunteer base in terms of training and teaching. How did you make so much food so quickly, and why are you doing it this way versus the way I do it at home? Has been a really interesting and fun opportunity for people to learn new techniques, and that's kept a lot of our volunteers on the regular. We have had a great mix of youth come through the kitchen. I love having youth in the kitchen. There's a certain energy involved there. There's an exposure to commercial cooking that I wish I had had as a youth that I didn't have. So we are working with the high school and other organizations to see if we can still maintain a youth component during the school year. There's definitely opportunities for some career learning and career training as well. We are producing like a commercial kitchen with all the equipment and all the health and safety standards. So it would be a good intro for anyone who's really interested in maybe a career in culinary. There's something about people eating and enjoying something that you created, especially when you're doing it in large volume and you're getting such great feedback on the food itself. That stuff feeds my soul, and just the benefit of being to help others on top of staying busy has been a real blessing.